In March 2013, so 1 year ago, let's say, the youth of the Netherlands chose him as the Dutch representatives at the United Nations. And as this youth representative, he seeks opinions and ideas from the youngsters in order to exchange those ideas with policymakers of the United Nations. He's particularly interested in sustainable development and will take every chance offered to spread the word on this issue. And to give you a little idea how important this role is, our current Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, if I'm right, Ties, but you can check me, did also apply for this job some years ago and didn't make it. So Ties made it. He is also a master student in sustainable development at the Universiteit of Utrecht, 23 years old. Please welcome Ties Mouwen.
Dank u wel. Okay, good evening everyone. I'd like to share 3 thoughts with you, and I'll be quick about it because I only have 8 minutes. And the first one is, they're all tied together by the theme of tonight, behavior. So the first one is, I'll give you a little background on what I do. So that's the behavior I show. The second one is, why do I do what I do? Why do I show this behavior? And the third one is a form of behavior that recently I learned is very important for the well-being of this world. Now, as a UN youth representative, I work on the post-2015 development agenda. And every time I get on stage, people come up to me and they tell me, hey, the UN, it doesn't really do anything, does it? So this is the point where this slide is supposed to come up, and I say, well, let's have a look. The UN, they feed 90 million people worldwide. That's about twice the population of Spain. Or they save the lives of 30 million women every year. And these people that come up to me, well, what they mean to say, what they should be saying is, of course, we could be doing so much more. And in that, they are absolutely right. So we feed 90 million people worldwide. Well, let's have a look at how many people go to bed hungry every day. 800 million people go to bed hungry every day. 800 million people to 1 billion live in slums in the worst conditions. Another 800 million people don't have access to safe drinking water. Now, that's horrible. And we only know it from the 8 o'clock news, but it's the world in which we live. So these topics are also being discussed at the UN, the post-2015 development agenda, and you may have heard of the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals. There are 8 tangible or measurable targets, and the ultimate objective of the MDGs is to halve poverty in 15 years' time, and we're well on our way. We're making an effort, and we're progressing, and actually chances to improve poverty and reduce it is also progressing, because technology is improving. So this time, the 15 years is up, and we need a new agenda, and we'll start in 2015. That's where the name comes from, hence post-2015 development agenda. But we're not actually, we're well on our way, but we're not making it. We're not actually achieving the targets set in the MDGs. We're not. So the big flaw here is nobody is responsible. So the question that remains is, who will be responsible this time? Now, who here is under 25 years of age? Raise your hand. Roughly, you are representable for the world. Half the world's population is under 25. Some countries, it's even 80% of the population that's under 25. Now, as I said before, it's important to me why people do what they do. And I say, as young people, this post-2015 development agenda, it's about our future. It's about a world in which we will have to live. So, we should take responsibility for our own future. So let the big guys at the UN up there talk it over, fight about it. We take our own responsibility. Now, it's funny, they call us the Generation X, Y, Z. I'm Generation Y, and people younger here, maybe you're Generation Z. And it's funny that we've come to the last letter of the alphabet, and at the same time, we've reached a point in history where we could actually, as a species, eradicate poverty for good. Just think about it. Okay, I'll move to the why, which is so important to me. It doesn't matter what you do to me, That all depends on your talents. It's very important. Use those on what you like, what you don't like. But the why, that's very important. It creates the context that gives greater meaning to what you do. So when things get tough, when people walk up to me and say, hey, the UN, it doesn't really do anything right, and all I do is work for the UN, so what does that say about me? Then knowing why you do what you do, that gives you the strength to keep on going. Now, yeah, well, actually, you're going to have to be honest to yourself to figure it out. And it's not a given that you know why you do what you do. Do you know, well, you're working, I know that. Do you know why you do your job? You probably thought it over. We're going to hear later about it. But really, be honest to yourself. Do you know why you show the behavior that you're showing? And be brave enough to ask yourself the questions like, am I being relevant? Now, the third thing I'd like to discuss is the form of behavior I mentioned, and it's the adventurous behavior. It's the entrepreneurial behavior, and it's very crucial for the well-being of our world. Because if you want to change these issues, if you want to change poverty, for instance, it won't happen by staying at home, staying inside. You're going to have to get out and get your hands dirty, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to fail over and over again. That's the way it works. But the big truth is, in the end, it's always worth it. So people are going to be opposing you. They're going to be putting you down. They're going to tell you you can't do it. And you will pull through because you know why you do what you do. And every time somebody comes up to you and says it's useless, you think about why you do what you do. Personally, I believe love is the highest universal value. And every time I'm challenged, I think about that, and it pulls me through. Yeah, actually that's it. So the take-home message for today is there are issues out there which we cannot ignore. We have to confront them, and we have to face these challenges, and it's going to be hard. And I often say you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone, and at times, going out on adventures and facing these challenges, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you know you will pull through because you know why you do it. And in the end, when you do, it will all be worth it. You will get to places that are unexpected, they're a surprise, they make it worth your while. But also very important, when you start giving to your environment, that's my personal experience, always gives back. So in the end, when you pull through, it's always worth it. Thank you.